my parents were classical music fans, and I was lucky enough to go to Pittsburgh Symphony concerts pretty often, so that was kind of there. But my oldest brother played electric bass, so that was an instrument that was around, and I kind of got interested in rock and roll when I was about 10 or 11, 12 years old. And one of the first inspirations, you probably think this is really funny, was the progressive rock band Rush. Okay, I was just fascinated by how precise their music was, how well crafted it was, and that was something that took me into the bedroom with my headphones on and the amp going discreetly, and tried my best to figure out what these guys were doing. And then later I kind of made a pretty natural transition to the real bass from the electric bass, and got into a local youth symphony. And I still remember that first note that we played. It must have been a horrible youth symphony, because the director said, let's start with a B flat scale. Okay, so the first note that I played on that gig was a low B flat, and immediately I can remember the feeling, the sensation. I was just astonished and transfixed by how great it felt to be at the bottom of everything. I was the only bass player, and all the other instruments just stacking up on top of my overtones or undertones, however you want to look at it. And from that moment, I thought, this is it. This is a great thing to do. And then, I connected the dots with the Pittsburgh Symphony concerts that we would go to. I'd watch the bass players, got to meet some of them, eventually study with one of them. So that's kind of how it worked. Some of my favorite classical bass players are on stage with me. I admire those gals and guys very much. As far as, kind of famous soloists, Edgar Meyer, of course, is unparalleled, and he's in Nashville. It's remarkable. There's also a French bass player named Francois Rabath, who has influenced generations of performers, and I definitely admire his playing and his compositions very much. On the electric bass, there's really nobody else besides Jaco Pastorius. It's really not one moment, but when I look back on these 10 years, we've done the entire Mahler cycle. I just realized this when we finished Mahler 3. I thought, wow, I've actually performed all the Mahler symphonies finally, and it's been in this room, in this hall. So for me, that's definitely a highlight. Hearing music in your house that's coming from a person on an instrument is just a wonderful thing. We're lucky enough to have a piano. Both my kids take piano lessons. So, they'll go by the piano, they'll practice their lesson for, 15 minutes, move on. There might be a ukulele, and you hear some ukulele music, and then someone else goes by the piano. It's a really wonderful thing to have in your house. The best sound that I've heard is when my two kids are singing in harmony, which is happening a little more and more, because one of the kids is quite a good singer and has a good ear for making a harmony part. That just blows me away. I just feel like I'm in heaven hearing my kids sing in harmony. It's just great.